Wanna join my crew? Yeah, we all know this iconic phrase. From Monkey D. Luffy. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, on what basis does this guy actually say that? Because we all agree, Luffy is not academically intelligent. He does not strategize. He does not negotiate. He does not offer contracts or compensation, or a 5-year plan. But here is what's interesting. Every single person on that ship would die for him without hesitation. So let's set aside the combat intelligence and focus on something nobody talks about. Luffy's social genius, the invisible psychological force that makes broken, traumatized, prideful people look at an unknown, unplanned journey toward something that might not even exist and say yes. How does he do it? Let's get into it. Zoro and the dream he never asked him to abandon. We all remember this one. Zoro tied to a pole, starving, completely at the mercy of a marine base that wanted him dead. And Luffy shows up, not with a rescue plan, but with a request. Join my crew. Now here is what most people miss. Zoro had a dream, to become the world's greatest swordsman. A dream that consumed everything he was. And Luffy never once asked him to set it aside. He never said, join me and maybe someday I will help you get there. He just accepted Zoro's dream, as part of the deal, as if it was obvious, that one dream does not cancel another. Psychologists call this dream acknowledgement, the act of seeing someone's deepest aspiration, and choosing to protect it, instead of compete with it. Most leaders say, follow me and I will give you what you want. Luffy said, follow me and keep everything you already are. It is with this philosophy that Zoro accepted the unknown journey. Nami and the Hat. Nami's story is heavy. A village held hostage, a childhood stolen, years of theft and survival, just to buy back the people she loved. She did not want friendship. She did not want a crew. She wanted money and freedom, and to never need anyone again. And then Luffy showed up at her lowest moment, not with words, but with his hat, the most precious thing he owned, placed on her head, without explanation, without conditions. He did not save her to own her. He did not rescue her to create a debt. He just showed up and made it clear that she did not have to carry it alone anymore. That's not recruitment. That's the psychology of unconditional presence. The rarest thing a traumatized person can ever receive. And with that psychology, Nami joined the crew. Chopper holding someone else's dream. Chopper is nostalgic for a reason. A reindeer who could never belong anywhere. Too human for the forest. Too monster for the people. His Dr. Hiliolic gave him something more valuable than medicine. A dream that one day a doctor could cure any disease in the world. Hiliolic died before seeing it fulfilled, and Chopper carried that weight alone, until Luffy looked at him, and did not see a monster or a pet or a curiosity. He saw a crew member. No negotiation, no convincing, just you are coming with us, with the certainty of someone who already knows the answer. Psychologically, that certainty matters, because someone who has spent their whole life being rejected does not need a reason to join. They need someone to simply refuse to leave without them. And that's how Chopper joined the crew. Robin with the selfish sacrifice. This one hits differently. Robin spent her entire life running from the government, from her past, from the belief that everyone around her would eventually die because of her. She called herself a demon. She believed she was cursed. She joined the crew, not out of hope, but out of a quiet willingness to finally stop running. And then came the moment. Surrounded, defeated, she cried out 3 words. She had never allowed herself to say, I want to live. And Luffy's response? He did not make a speech. He did not offer safety. He declared war on the entire world government. Because to Luffy, Robin wanting to live was reason enough to burn the world down. That's not leadership. That's the psychology of radical acceptance. Seeing someone at their most broken and deciding that their existence alone is worth fighting for. And now we have Robin in the crew. Next is
my voice, now she trying to have flexing ain't too complex.
Franky and his foolish pride. Well, Franky, a self-made man, literally, who built himself into a weapon, and covered everything soft underneath, with steel and stubbornness. His pride was his armor, the thing that kept him from admitting he needed anything, or anyone, and Luffy, in the most Luffy way possible, did not try to break that armor. He did not appeal to Franky's emotions, or his past, or his pain. He just decided Franky was joining. With the same casual certainty, he decides everything, and somehow, that refusal to treat Franky's pride as an obstacle, that complete indifference to the armor, is exactly what got through it. Because sometimes the most disarming thing someone can do is simply not be impressed by the walls you built. With that acceptance, Franky joined the crew. Unfortunately, I am not going to cover every crew member. So, what does Luffy actually understand that most people don't? He understands that loyalty cannot be manufactured, can only be grown, in the space between two people, where neither one is trying to control the other. Zoro kept his dream, Nami kept her freedom, Chopper kept his purpose, Robin kept her life, Franky kept his pride. Luffy took nothing from any of them, and received everything in return, because here is the psychology that One Piece has been teaching quietly, across 1,000 episodes. The people who need to control others are afraid of being chosen freely, and the people who trust enough to let go, who say here I am, come if you want, those are the ones who build the unbreakable bonds. Freedom does not push people away, control does, and the people meant to stay, always will. Subscribe and drop it in the comments. Which Straw Hat recruitment hit you the hardest? And do you know someone in real life who leads exactly like Luffy?